Welcome to the AI for Interior Designers podcast, where creativity meets cutting edge technology. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence and explore how it's revolutionizing the interior design industry. From AI powered design tools to the latest trends and innovations, we've got you covered. So plug in, relax, and let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to AI for Interior Designers podcast. P.S. This intro was written by and voiced by AI to sound like your host, Jenna Gaidusek.
Hey designers, welcome back for episode 62 of the AI for Interior Designers podcast. I'm your host, Jenna Gaidusek, and today I want to talk about something that is fresh in my mind because yesterday I had the privilege of teaching at my alma mater, my college that I went to, and I graduated in 2010 with my BFA in interior design. So I got to meet yesterday virtually with some of these students and my college professor who was there starting, I believe, my sophomore year is when she came to our school, and she's still there and changing lives for the future of interior designers and has been teaching them now for, I want to say, probably 20 years, and is, we've kept in touch since I graduated from school. And it's just been kind of interesting to see the new class, to see the prospects, and also to see how this industry and world in general has changed and how rapidly it's changing now. I have to say this, like, if I was going to design school right now for interior design and I had maybe a year left, I would be nervous about the next step. I mean, I was nervous when I was in design school in 2008. You guys remember that? So graduating in 2010, kind of similar, obviously not as crazy as it is right now, but similar situation where there was a massive recession when I was in school. And when I got out of design school, still, it was hard for me to find a job that wasn't a sales job. So I ended up working for a furniture company after design school and also got my real estate license and just kind of, worked my way up so that I could still be in the industry and still get hands-on experience. But I had to put in the time. Like, I think a lot of us have to put in the time. If our husband's not a builder or our mom's an interior designer, like, good for you guys. Happy for you guys. But for the majority of us, that's not our situation. And we have to figure it out the second we leave design school. I just want to be real with today's episode, as I always am with these episodes, about what I see, because I do sit in this interesting position in our industry as an interior designer, as an educator, and also being able to travel as often as I do and talk to so many organizations around the country, Canada, like all over the place. And so I get to see like where there's struggles right now with this industry. And that's not just AI, that's not just, is AI coming from my job? I think you got to worry more about, are there people that can afford me so that I can continue to do my job before you start worrying about if AI is coming for it? Because the economy right now and the way that we're going, we're going to start to see a lot of shifting, we'll say, with not only our clientele, but in the way that we design. And so going back to students and of where those chips will fall when they get out of school, there's a lot that is up in the air right now. And after meeting for about 90 minutes yesterday to teach this class about the fundamentals of AI and how to get started and, what's out there, what do I do? What do I not do when it comes to AI in my design process? Because I've actually had quite a lot of clients this past couple of weeks where I did hold off for the past year, but man, have I been busy with actual design clients. So seeing that perspective, really applying the AI components to this and the ethics behind it all, those are all things that I was able to speak on yesterday and continue to, of course, with you all too. But it hit different yesterday, I think, because talking to students, and my professor as well, and getting their different perspectives. One of the questions that stuck with me was, are you concerned about the environmental impact of all of this? And first of all, thank you for asking that question, whoever it was in the class, because I think a lot of people don't understand the environmental impact of it all. I do have a podcast episode on that from a while ago, but it is a serious issue. And so I love that that question was even asked and in that setting from a student, because it means that they care about that. And I love that because if they didn't care about what's happening right now for us to be able to use AI, who's going to? And, like, it's going to be too late if people don't care about that. So let me just kind of back up for a second, because if you're just listening to this and you don't know the environmental impacts of AI, it's not good. It's not good. And the decisions that are being made right now by these larger companies are not in the best interest of the environment or the people that are living in these areas where facilities are going in. I've got a Google cloud that will be going into a data center that will be going into the area that I live, actually. I just found that out. So it'll be interesting to see from living in that situation, like, what are the firsthand environmental impacts of all of this? The energy, like, are we about to start having really high energy bills? I've been hearing about that as well. So I am so happy to hear from the perspective of students that, like, they are concerned about the decisions that are being made. And I was just straight up honest with them. It's a problem. It's a problem. Like, we are not making good choices. And when I say me, I mean, because it's that top tier and we are not that. So those guys are making terrible decisions in our country. And when it comes to AI, it's like, oh, well, let's just do it and then we'll deal with this stuff later and the environmental impacts later. And it's like, those are our kids. Like, you might be making those choices, but those are like my children that's 4 years old right now. And their kids, should they choose to have them in the future, like, you are destroying their earth for AI. And so I'm going on tangents here, but I am so grateful that that question was asked, because there were not a lot of questions. I had a lot of information, but that one was asked and I appreciate it. So thank you, because we have to question. You can only control what you can control. It's an issue. You control what you can control and you push back against the things that you can't and you try and make them right. And that's what my reply was when I got that question during the session after. What I'm receiving in information is that a lot of college aged students in design school right now, they're focusing a lot of their time still on Photoshop and Adobe type products and also rendering and doing plans. Well, I think that drafters and floor plan and all of that type of stuff, elevations, CDs, like, if you're doing construction documents, I think you're fine, like, for quite a while, because there needs to be that person that brings this two-dimensional layout to the real space and can understand that. And I don't see AI being able to do that in the way that humans can do that, code restriction, like, all that stuff, anytime soon. Yes, there's little tools that can help. It can speed up the process. It can look for errors and stuff, but, like, that's not going to be done by robots for a very long time. So I think that, like, feasibly at least. So I think that, learning rendering and all that stuff is still very valid. But I said this to the class, and you guys know me, I am blunt. I'm going to just tell you how it is. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. It's just not in my nature. But I was like, I don't see rendering. And I love rendering. Like, my first company was acquired for the rendering portion of it for the most part, But I don't see rendering being this thing that we waste hours on anymore. It's already starting to not do that. In fact, all of the projects that I mentioned I'm working on right now, not a single one has a render. Not one. Uh, all of them have chosen to not waste the time with the render or the money that it takes. And they have decided that it's okay for me to give them, because this is the deliverables that I set, a floor plan. So we know it's to scale. myself and my previous intern just promoted to assistant, and we both worked on those. And so we did them by hand. We made sure, by hand on the computer, we made sure that the layouts were feasible and accurate, and all of the items that we selected would fit in there. Okay. But for imagery, I didn't do full on renders. I didn't waste hours of my day. And trust me, I love rendering. I could tweak out on a render all weekend, but I don't have time for that now. And so if I can visually convey with actual products and the actual space how it's going to look, it might not be to scale. Some of the products might be a little bit off, but there's disclaimers. That's what they understand. Like we signed up for this service. We understand that these visuals are just to communicate how these things would look. They're not 100% accurate. I mean, half the time our renders haven't been either, let's be honest, because it's not always the real product. But that in itself, I turned around a design project the other day in about 8 hours. 8 hours. Like, we met in the morning, and then after that, I sat here, I used Daniel House Club and my floor plans, and then I had all my swatches around, and I was like, "Here's your shopping list. Here's the plans. Done." Like, that's how quickly and efficiently we can start to create these things. And that's kind of where e-design, as we have known it, is transitioning. So for those of you that are in the virtual space and are kind of thinking, oh no, with AI going on right now, like, what do I do? Like if they can just go to ChatGPT and get very similar options, then like, what am I doing? How am I going to restructure my services? And to that, I would say, do things that are like personalized. Here's your personal shopping list. You show me, and obviously not just shopping list, like you're curating. You're not just going to one store or whatever. Like, I mean, you do you, whatever you want to do. I don't care. It's not my business, but I'm just telling you, like you're using your expertise, your trade resources. Like I told these clients after I delivered their initial concepts and ideas, and then conceptual shopping list that we can go through with the products that I selected, I was like, I'm going to be at High Point next week. If you want me to go sit on these, do some sit tests, send you some videos, show you how everything works, I am happy to do that. Tell me if AI can do that. No, because AI does not live here in our world. There's robots, but does a robot with a metal ass sit on a sofa the way that you do? No. Like, come on. So there's always going to be these parts of the human touch that just literally will never be able to be replicated. Okay. So there's always going to be that. And finding the solution, finding that human component, the deliverables that people can afford right now. Like I'm not talking about the luxury tier. Okay. The luxury tier is a luxury tier. Like they're gonna be fine. I'm talking about people that are now getting more and more depressed. They're losing their health benefits or insurance or whatever, like everything, just everything. Okay. We'll just say that. And people are struggling. People are struggling. But you know what helps with that is when you come home and your house feels nice. It feels comfortable. It feels like a warm hug. It feels like you can be yourself there, right? And that like outside that door is chaos, but inside your house, this is your happy place. And so everybody deserves that. Everybody deserves that. And these people, unfortunately, are starting to not be able to afford simple things that can make their life just slightly better, And I'm not talking about like, oh, get a new rug and it's going to change your life. I'm talking about like, if you want a fresh coat of paint on something so that not everything's white or gray anymore and depressing, like you should be able to afford, a gallon of paint, and a lot of people can't. So just kind of thinking about like, or they can't or they don't want to because there's uncertainty. Okay, we'll say that because like they're like, I'm holding on to my money right now. I will wait. And I think that's a lot of what's going on too, where it's like we've got a lot of people in this industry that are like, well, I've got clients maybe, but they're all like, I don't want to spend any money on purchases. Now with tariffs going up, I'm a little bit nervous that like all the prices are also going to go up and all of these different factors. So considering that, luxury and higher end pretty much will be unscathed. They might start pulling back, in certain areas, but generally, like they're still going to be comfortable. That middle class, which is where a lot of us designers fall, a lot of those clientele right now are either not moving forward with purchasing things or not moving forward at all with design. Houses are not selling. I've got houses here in my neighborhood that have sat here for 8 months. Okay. Brand new neighborhood. Like, and this is everywhere around me. Um, and I'm just speaking to around me, but I know that it's happening in a lot of different places, of course, everywhere. So nobody's doing anything. So think about who would hire a student out of design school to work for a firm. Because that's the first thing you want to do when you leave design school. You want to work for an interior design firm, right? Like you want to do what you got your degree in. And it just doesn't happen that way for the majority of us, to be totally honest, especially right now. Um, I wish it did. I wish it did, but we put in our time and we don't just like come out of design school as like expert designers and automatically assume that like we have a job waiting for us. There's no there's not a lot of jobs right now. And I don't want to say no, because I do know people in that higher tier that have teams that are hiring. I also know that those firms hire me because they want to stay ahead of the curve. And so I work with them individually, with their teams, with their lead designers, whomever they set on the AI training. And so I will sit with these top tier firms and go through, here's how you use AI for your application. The reason why these firms that I talk to are going to have an advantage over those that aren't implementing these things or seem like they're going to be blindsided by what's about to come. Um, they're going to not be able to be in business anymore because they're not staying ahead of the curve. So I am noticing trends with who hires me, who looks like they're absolutely clueless online right now and just trying to throw stuff at their social media and hope it sticks. And I worry for them because those are that middle tier where they're like, I've had to either lay off employees or I'm almost at this point where like I need to join forces with another designer and we need to partner up, which is not a bad idea. That's a great idea, actually. And I am seeing a lot of those collaborations. But it's time to start thinking differently about who you're hiring. If you're hiring somebody to help you to drum up business and really like ramp it up so that you can stay relevant, you need to learn AI and you should probably be looking for somebody to add to your team that is proficient in AI. And I'm not talking like an expert. I'm just saying that person has opened ChatGPT and can have some serious conversations with it that are meaningful and beneficial to business or to marketing, or social media or design. Like all of those different components. These students coming out of design school, if you don't know how to use AI, or if you think that you are just going to get a job because you know how to render and do floor plans, you are sadly mistaken. These designers and these firms are, a lot of them, barely making it right now. You should see the polls in like interior design community and some of my other coach friends. Designers make legitimately less than 40 grand a year, like take home. If you're looking at these things, and that's being generous with some of these numbers that I've seen. So these people are not hiring students out of design school. There are no jobs unless if you are good and have started planting the seeds, before your senior year, before you get out. Like who's working on their portfolio right now? Hopefully they're going to a portfolio class. I know that they have one at my college that I went to. So they're in portfolio and they're learning how to build all of that. But they're actually fighting back against learning AI. And I think some of that might be because they're like, well, why? We need to first learn how to draw floor plans and do all of this stuff. And yes, of course, you should know that. Those are all fundamental things. But you can't just ignore new tools when you're focusing on one other thing. Like they go hand in hand. You have to juggle all of them. And that's just a taste of what it's like to be a business owner. You have to use all of these tools, you have to be proficient in them, and you have to bring something to the table and set yourself apart. And so that's why we're going to start seeing a lot of like new roles, whether they're assistant hires or intern or whatever. Look for AI proficiency and ask you to prove it on your interview. Why would I hire somebody that doesn't know how to open an AI model and have a conversation? I wouldn't. What a waste of my time. What a waste of my time. Like I'm sorry to be so blunt, but like if you don't use I cannot hire you because you will work 10 times slower than somebody that has learned AI, is proficient in it, or at least knows the fundamentals that I can teach and is open to it. But if you have no interest in learning AI from a student standpoint or somebody that is looking to get hired in general, then you're not really bringing anything to the table at this point in time. Your design degree is great. I love that for you. But we can all design. We don't need another designer. We need somebody that can help us with the to do list that makes it so that I can't even breathe some days. Like, I can't even tell you what's on that to do list, except for it's not design. It's not design work. I need somebody else to help me to organize my Canva, find email. Like that's an assistant. Like that's not only an AI assistant could help me to do that, but if I had an assistant that knew how to proficiently use AI, just think of the possibilities. I don't have to sit here and do it myself. I could say, look, I've set you up for success. You've got an agent that writes for you. You've got all of these calculator tools I built for you. Like, here's all of your custom GPTs that do proposals, that do like find your paint colors and put everything into a really beautiful spreadsheet for you and do all of your spec books or whatever. As long as I can train somebody or somebody comes to me with like those basic fundamental understanding, not just from a design standpoint, but like if I put this spreadsheet into ChatGPT and I say, fill in all of the other details that I'm missing here, what do I say? What are the prompts that it needs to be said? That's 101. Like, I mean, for me, that's 101. And so maybe I have higher standards, but you should at least know how to open up Gmail or, Microsoft and activate an AI assistant to help you write a better email. Like that's just in there. And that's just like anybody can do it. You're just choosing not to. So if it's right there and it's accessible and it's beneficial, why wouldn't you do it? I mean, that's for business owners and, designers that or students that are looking to enter the workforce. You have to be ahead of the game. You have to. I want you guys to get hired. And so that's why I feel like I need to say this, and I feel like I need to say it in the tone that I'm saying it in because I worry for you. I really do. Like if you're in design school and you're like, I'm going to learn design, I'm going to get out and help designers. No, we want to design. Like I want to design. I don't have time to design because I have to do all the other crap in this business. That's the fun part. You think I'm just going to give that to you? No, no. I'm going to make time by giving you my other tasks so that I can do the part that I started this for, and that's to design. Okay. So you got to put in your time, but you got to learn the AI or else you're not going to get hired. You're not. And I don't know another way that might be nicer to say that to you. I know what people come to me for. I know that the firms that are asking for references to bring more people in because they're actually flourishing, they're doing great. Those are the ones that are like, well, do they have AI on their resume? I mean, I could list off 5 right now that are looking for that role in that position. I can't tell you any that are not looking for something like that. With that being said, I just hope that this gives you something to think about when it comes to, where should I be spending my time? What should I be focusing on? And how do I get a leg up in this industry when I leave school? I just don't think a lot of people are going to say it to you as bluntly as I just did. So I'm sorry if it's hurtful. I really am. But I think that there are some harsh realities in this world right now that a lot of people are not paying attention to. And give it a year. And I think we're going to see a lot of firms shut down in that middle range and a lot of firms that have been early AI adapters and those have gotten their processes and workflows and teams together in a forward thinking mindset, those ones are going to skyrocket as these other ones start to fall off. And then think about this, as those businesses are closing, people that have been in business for 5, 10 years, they're just not getting the clientele over the next year, right? So when that happens, what are they going to do? Where are they going to go? They might go back into the workforce. They might start looking for things that offer insurance. That's another great benefit to not being your own boss, is you get insurance through companies. But those people will start to look for firms, and firms typically will look for more experience over new hires, unless if you bring something else to the table that that person that was in business for 5 or 10 years doesn't do, and that's AI proficiency. Okay. So, whatever that means for you, I've got a ton of trainings on like getting started, which tools I recommend, some free stuff, lots of podcasts where we just talk about it. Get your feet wet and get started. Okay. If you have been ignoring this, and if you are a design student, if you're just barely out of design school, if you're thinking about going into design school, for those that didn't go to design school and are like, I'm going to be an interior designer now, whew, hope your husband's a builder because yikes, that it's a scary time to do something like that. I'm saying this so bluntly today, guys, because I want you to make good choices and I want you to make lucrative business decisions. And a new hire is a big deal. And so you want to find the right one. Graduating design school is a big deal and you want to set yourself up for success. Right now, there's so much uncertainty and nobody's given you the answer point blank. There is no answer. We don't have them. But that's why, as your big sister that graduated college 15 years ago, I felt like I needed to share that with you. Because I'm concerned for you, but also I want to help you. And you just had to hear that today. Okay. I hope that this was beneficial. I hope that we can still be friends after I said this today. But yeah, that's just my perspective from the student, from working with the clientele that I work with, and just what I see. Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm a little terrified, but I'm going to keep doing what I do. Hopefully, give some of you an advantage in your business by doing what I like to do, which is teaching AI and nerding out about it and being real and ethical about it. Because I think that that says a lot as well, is the way that you use AI when you learn how to use AI, right? All right, that's it for today. I will see hopefully some of you guys at High Point next week. So I won't have a new episode next Friday, but make sure that you do sign up for our newsletter because we have started sending out a weekly download. It's called the download. And it's just a recap of like what's coming up, what events are happening, what classes are happening. By the way, just got CEU certified for the first of hopefully many of our virtual workshop classes. So the first one will be December 4th. You can go check those out on the website as well. But I'm just trying to educate you guys, trying to get you to be excited about these things and excited for the right reasons because they are helpful to take out the monotonous, and to give you that edge that everybody needs right now. Okay. All right, guys. Till next time, you have a great day. All right. Bye.